Happy First Friday. Happy New Year, Lynds.
Happy New Year, friend. And I believe we have a birthday to celebrate today.
Yes, today's my birthday.
What a great way to kick off a call and a year. I mean, it's going to be a fresh start on so many levels.
Yeah. I always, it's so interesting because like, it's never just like a new year for me. It's literally like a new year as far as like my age. So this time of year is really exciting for me. I really enjoy it. I'm glad that it's like close to New Year for my birthday because then I don't have this like reset mentality twice.
It's a great way to kick off the year. I have a summer birthday, so mine's like in the middle of, fun and vacation and stuff. So it works, but I like starting fresh. I think it's cool. So one of the things that I've been seeing bopping around LinkedIn is everyone is talking about what is their word of 2024. So what is your word?
Yeah. So my word, I stole from my church, which I'm totally okay with because it was something that I couldn't really put the finger on of how to say it anyway. But my word is flourish. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't be more proud to be connected with that word. The last couple of years, like for me, I've spent getting rid of toxic situations in 2022. 2023 was like sitting, listening, trying things. My like phrase of the year was like, screw it. Like, I'm just going to do what God tells me. I'm going to do what I feel. I'm going to work with who I want to. I'm going to figure things out and like not listen to anyone on the outside. Mm-hmm. And it was such a beautiful growth year for me because I really figured out like who I want to be and who I am truly on the inside. And I know that taking that and going into 2024 now, this year is going to be the year to flourish in the sense of like, okay, I identified everything. Now I'm just going to like, let's go, let's do it, let's grow.
Yeah, you put the systems in place. Now it's going to blossom. So while we're chatting, guys, please put in your words. We'd love to hear them.
Yes.
My word is kind of, I feel like it's a redo, but it's being intentional or intention. And that became really, really important to me during the pandy. I became very, very intentional with who I spent my time with, how I'm collaborating with people, the choices I'm making, where I'm spending my money. And so I want that to really carry on. It's very much in line with what you're doing, but I think there's a really big sense of, I just want to be with people that recharge my battery, that lift me up, that I can support others in the same way. And being very thoughtful about the words I choose, the vibe I'm creating and curating. So yeah, that's my word. They all fit nicely together, but I've heard really good words like gratitude and there was another one that someone had that was really, really good. And I forget what it is right now, but yeah, we'd love to hear yours. So that's just a fun way to kick off the call.
I love that. I'm totally okay with revisiting the words too, especially if you feel like you need to go back and redo something or you've gotten off track.
It's also reinforcing. I think last year was kind of a lot of exploring and a lot of like a little bit like screw it and like I'm going to try new things. And now a lot of those systems are really solid and in place. And now, carrying it through and making sure things really continue. So, we do this First Friday series, the first Friday of every month. We love being with all of you guys. And we really wanted to kick off the new year fresh and kind of revisit some of the things we talked about last year, but really help you as you're moving through your career decisions and your changes, just help you frame it, help you get that mindset right, because mindset is the key to everything. And if you are thinking about things in the right way, you are setting yourself up for success. So Ash, why don't you kick us off with some of the stuff that we covered last year that we're bringing forward again this year?
Yes, I'm so excited. I am trying to like get our branding. I don't know what's going on here with it. Here we go. So I'm excited. So some of this is going to be a repeat of December. If you joined us in December, we're going to like quickly recap what we talked about to recap 2023, how to carry it into 2024 as far as stop, start, continue goals are concerned. And we're going to have a nice resource for you at the end. So stick till the end, because if you don't hear how to get the free resource, you're not going to be able to get it. So stick with us until the end.
If you've never gotten our free resources before, we'd really try and give you a lot of value. So if anybody has never experienced it, it's free. Guys, take it. It's, you know, it can only help you. And if it doesn't, okay, let us know. But we really are trying to provide you value at every turn. And that's what we hope these calls are doing for you. And we're grateful that you attend.
Yeah. So without being cliche, new year, new career, whether you're staying in your current job or not, you have the opportunity to evolve in your career every single day. If you're the kind of person that, for whatever reason, you need to wait until the new year to feel like it's time to revitalize, that's totally okay. We're going to talk about setting goals for professional success in 2024. Starting with reflecting on the past year. You cannot move forward if you don't know where you came from. You don't have to sit there and constantly think about like what went wrong or like how you wish you could go back and do better or the good old days. But understanding your wins, like Lyndsay and I have talked about building a brag book. Yeah. So many, probably every single time that we get on one of these calls, it's something that we spend a lot of time teaching our students and our clients to do in our Sell Me Your Story workshop, in our coaching that we do separately from each other. Building your brag book is such a strong exercise for making sure that you're bringing the facts from the past into your present in order to acquire a really strong future. This is like no different than what we're talking about on reflecting from 2023.
Well, and that brag book does something else for your mindset. You know, when you can look back and you see all of the things that you've done in the past year or in the past couple of years, it's going to give you a sense of accomplishment, and it's really going to give you that strength to move forward and rest on the fact you're pretty badass. So don't take that lightly. It's such an important exercise to go through, and it really does help you stand in your power. So we really want you to own it, be proud of it, and spend some time thinking about it, because so many of the things that you just automatically do would be perceived as accomplishments by anyone outside of your immediate team that you're working with. So, you know, really give it some thought. Were you published? Were you on a podcast? Did you create a new best practice? Did you have a major win? Did you help someone get a job? Did you advise someone? Did you coach someone? Were you coached? Like, all of these things contribute to that brag book. And the most important thing, Ash kind of hit on it before, don't live with regret. The best thing that you can do is learn the lesson. If something didn't work, if you made an investment that wasn't good, what did you learn from it? And what are you going to carry with you so you don't repeat that mistake again? That's the real important thing. But don't live with regret. That's just not a great emotion. It's not a real helpful way for you to conduct your life.
Yeah, goodness. And Lord knows, like, I've been there, done that. Like, anyone who knows my story, follows me on LinkedIn, is connected with me. Anything along those lines. Like, I come from a very traumatic childhood, and I grew up until my late 20s in a very negative space, reflecting on the negative things that had happened in my past. And while I was successful, for example, in my career, right, moving all of that negative energy into something that I can control, and that was really good, it brought down so many levels of my life in other places that ultimately my career failed and it crumbled because I hit burnout because I was so stuck in a negative space. Yeah. But I've learned to focus on gratitude in every single thing that I do, whether it's with failure, for example, because we don't learn from success, honestly. Like, we learn from failure and how we're going to be better from it. Right. Yes, success is like great, quote unquote, but it lasts a second and then you just keep doing it. It's where we made our mistakes and overcame those that's really special, and living in gratitude from those. They've changed my life. And you guys can share your own reflections with us, like right now from 2023. I shared one last week. I think it was last week. Just in like the last 11, 12 weeks of December, I made $15,000. And one of those weeks I made $7,000. So I doubled my revenue for the quarter just in 1 week, because I was focused on like, okay, what's working? What am I doing well? What are people loving, or what's going great in my career that I'm talking about, or the conversations that I'm having? And I doubled down on those, and I doubled my revenue because of that in only 1 week, setting me up for a really good 2024. Mm-hmm. And even if we're talking about, we talk about career in general, of course, we talk about finding a new job, but looking at the things that maybe even are just like everyday consistency, that's something to be really proud of. Yeah. Honestly, if you're able to maintain consistency and to continue to do what you need to do, that's a really great thing to reflect on. Or maybe you survived, right? There's a lot of layoffs that happened in 2023. I think that looking at yourself as someone who survived that, and you maintained hope, and you're here on this webinar and you're looking to become better, that is absolutely something to celebrate.
Well, and let's just talk about the layoff thing. I mean, as someone who's been fired and as a leader who's had to lay off people, when your life is altered that way, it is ground shaking. And you really, most people feel it personally, even though it was a professional decision. It might not have had anything to do with you, but that is a moment for you to find your power. And we have a good friend, Claire Davis, who I adore. She has survived 4 layoffs. And that has become her source of why she does the work that she does. That is where her power came from. My getting fired was what prompted me to create my company, Heartbeat for Hire, and ultimately go down this path and be here with you guys, because I understand what leaders should never do. And this is what I want to teach. So take those moments of struggle and embrace them, harness them, and figure out and really focus on the growth out of those moments. We talk about this a lot in the class, using that moment of failure or that moment of pain, that becomes your purpose, that becomes your power. And when you're working with purpose, that's what's going to always fuel your heart. That's what's going to help you make the right decisions. And living with purpose is the thing that I think most people really do crave. And you can't do that if you're only living in the negative. So that's a choice, and life is about choices. If you choose to not act, inactivity is a choice. If you choose to live in gratitude, that is a choice. So think about the choices you make every day. It's going to change the way you see the world.
Amen. And once you have these reflections too, right, and you're thinking about, okay, what do I want to stop, start, continue, carry over into this year? We hit on this in December. It's something that, if you've ever been in sales or a leadership role, period, SMART goals is something I know that has come up many, many times throughout my career, especially when I started in sales. This is how I learned how to set like really healthy goals and how to actually achieve them, was going through SMART goals. And it's the concept of creating goals that are specific, measurable, achievable, right? They're not some like far off goals that stresses you out even more and holds you in like freeze mode where you're like, oh my gosh, I'm not worthy to like hit this goal. No, something that you can actually achieve, and something that's relevant to the goals that you have, as well as time bound. And what that means is that you are setting a time frame for when you are going to achieve these goals. If you've never set SMART goals for your career, one of the resource that we're going to give at the end of this does entail how to set specific SMART goals within your career. I do this multiple times a year personally. I don't just do it in the new year. I visit it about every quarter. And then I break it down too into, all right, how am I going to do it this month? And how am I going to do it this week when I'm planning out my week? And I think it's a practice that everyone should have on a regular basis.
And don't forget, things change. You encounter people that could change the course of what it is you want to do. So, the word relevant, I think, is really important. And especially if you're someone that is struggling with imposter syndrome, most people that are struggling with imposter syndrome, A, are high performers, but B, we probably all have shiny penny syndrome. So we all, oh, it's so much easier. I'm going to go work on a podcast instead of doing the work I really have to do. When you do stuff that's easy all the time, you're not living in the discomfort, and the discomfort is where the growth happens. It's where you learn.
Lord,
And
is it?
focusing on the relevant stuff that's going to make you successful is really important. It's so easy to get distracted and push the hard stuff away. But when you accomplish the hard stuff and you get it done, there's such a sense of satisfaction and learning, and it's something you did it yourself. So just try and keep yourself with some guardrails on the relevant stuff, because it's so easy to get distracted.
Yeah. And something else that, I saw someone, which is so interesting how like everything comes back to you. It really does, especially when you're putting out good in the world and you are instilling your knowledge in another person to help them grow. There's someone that I coached and developed into a social media manager like 10 years ago when I owned my first agency. She came to me and I taught her how to be a social media and a brand manager. And she's made a really successful career out of it. And she's still doing it 10 years later. And it's incredible. And she's helped me with some of my brand stuff. And it's just a beautiful thing when you're able to put your energy in someone else. But something that she does now is she's taking these SMART goals, because I taught her these systems too. She's taken her SMART goals and she goes a step further now, where she's like, okay, these are my like high value goals that I will achieve this year, right? So she's setting her intention, not just like goals, but like, I am going to work with these clients, or I am going to do these things in my career. And she makes a list of, okay, I'm going to work with a beauty brand. I'm going to work with a conference. I'm going to work with a female business owner. And she sets these like, I will intentions in a list. And it's not super specific, but it's how she builds her SMART goals by saying, this is my like go-getter list. I think that's a super fun thing to be able to do, of like, I will put on an event, or I will find a new job, or I will get a raise that's 15% instead of 3%, or right, like whatever you can say of like, these are my dream intentions for this year. Do it until you run out of gas. When I work with the women who I coach in the Womanpreneur Lab, which is my mastermind for women in business, one of the things that we do is a money mindset challenge. And that's like one of the first things that I do. And it's basically like setting intentions for how they're going to reach their financial goals in their business by looking at all of their like strengths and the things that they can do in order to reach it. And what we do is we make this like exhaustive list of 25 to 50 things that they can make money on. And like, it's hard to do, because you're like at, 5 or 10, you're like, I don't know what else I can make money on. But things like this of setting intentions for what you want to achieve or how you're going to reach your goals, it helps your brain to expand on your actual abilities within yourself. And if you have to phone a friend and be like, hey, what do you come to me for? Or what have I helped you with in my career? Or what do you think that I can do? It just helps you to create a longer list of intentions, to create some SMART goals you probably never thought that you could achieve.
Well, and I think I love that you talk about that. And I love that list of creating all the ways that you think you can make money. I mean, there's never been a better time to do a side hustle. But in order to make that be successful, you have to know how to talk about yourself. And that's the reason we get on this call, because we really want to help people be articulate about who they are, who they serve, what their purpose is in their business life. And I think that all of those things can happen if you know how to do that. And, both of us have podcasts. We interview people all the time. And there's nothing worse than having someone who has an incredible resume, an incredible like list of accomplishments. And when you ask them to tell your story, they like grasp for straws and they're kind of all over the place. And you're like, no, I want you to tell this part, because this is the part that people need to know about you in order to want to listen for more. So you're really kind of curating that tight story of, this is who I am, this is what I've achieved, in it all comes through this process. Everything is connected. It's not just do that and the rest happens. It all complements each other.
And being able to say, like, this is what I'm going to do. Whether you're looking for a new job, you're looking for a promotion, you're looking to stay in your current job, you're looking to take a pivot in your career, start your own business, whatever it is, if you do not know what your goals are, you cannot move in confidence through the next stages in your career, especially if you're interviewing or you're having your like annual review or your quarterly check-in with your leader or your team. Being able to articulate, these are the goals that I will accomplish, that instills confidence in everyone else around you. And it's a really cool thing to feed off of each other, to elevate the energy, to be able to actually reach those goals, whether you're doing them together or just supporting each other alongside.
Totally agree. Love that. So, with every career, you're going to have challenges, whether it's a job you love. I mean, I say this all the time. There's no such thing as job security. There's only career security. You've got to build that for yourself. And so knowing who you are, knowing what your purpose is, even if your purpose is driven by a job within a company, that's totally cool. You could be super passionate about sustainability. You could be super passionate about, helping people in pharmaceuticals. Like there's a lot of things to be passionate about. You don't just need to be an entrepreneur to be passionate, but you're going to have challenges and you're going to have things you need to overcome. So choosing how your mindset is, choosing who you spend time with, who you learn from. I would challenge everybody. And I think we did this on our last call. Coffee chats are really, really incredible when you can meet with the right people. And most people will agree to spending 30 minutes with you, but go in there prepared, do your homework, know who you're going to be spending time with, and give yourself a goal. Say, I'm going to do 3 coffee chats a month or 4 coffee chats a month. That will blow your network up huge. But you can serve people while you're doing these coffee chats. Chances are you know something that they need, and you can just be a giving human. I think, Ash and I do these a lot. I mean, I'm probably like 4 a week instead of 4 a month, but that's right now, that's the way it is. And I'm fueling my network with really incredible humans. It's how I find a lot of my podcast guests. It's how I find my clients. And I don't go into those coffee chats thinking I'm going to sell someone. I go into it wanting to get to know someone. And if we vibe and they say, hey, I want to take your course, great. But that's not the reason for the coffee chat. But that's my challenge for everybody, for really pushing yourself and learning new things, new people, new ways of doing things.
And I love that you took this approach, because I was totally going to do the same thing on This Is Why We're Friends. But I was going to do the same thing, and don't think about challenges as a bad thing. Challenge is what provides growth in your career, in your life, in your finances, in your mental health, in every area of who you are as a human. And if you're not challenging yourself with something that allows that growth, like meeting new people that are complete strangers, and being able to set aside time to create a really strong offense, right? The best defense is a strong offense. So if you're planning ahead, and anytime I've coached people on my team when I've worked in corporate and I've had people under me, one of the things that I teach all of them to do is to create space in their day to make room for the icks that are going to happen and the things that are going to go wrong, and to not stack on every second of your day, because you are going to become overwhelmed. To create that space to meet new people and to fill your own personal cup of who you are as a human. It's not just work all the time. You cannot be the best employee or leader or business owner if you're not pouring into you as a person outside of that work that you do. And the way that you do that is by creating space to welcome positive change into your life.
Well, and to that point, burnout is a reality.
Yeah.
Burnout can happen to everyone. So you have to find the people in your life that are going to help you recharge your battery, and they're going to help you refocus and say, Ash, the reason you're so good at this is because, and the reason people come to you is because. And listen, guys, when you're having those moments of doubt,
and you will
don't sit in it. Like, reach out to your network and ask for help, because I have people in my life, Ash is one of them, where I'm like, oh my God, I am a mess. Like, I'm not feeling strong. What am I doing? And they're the ones that are going to remind you of why you're so good at what you do. So you need that, and you need the good kick in the tush of get out of your head, because you're better than this.
Yeah. And going into that, right?
Perfect transition.
See, just like natural conversation. I love how it always works out. Building a career support system. So if you don't know how to do that, I'm totally going to plug right now, because we have our Sell Me Your Story workshop. And not only do we teach you how to properly articulate like your experience and how you're going to elevate your career and take your next moves into doing that, but we teach our students how to build a proper career support system, and support system, like period, through like networking and community and shifting your ways of thinking, and why it's so important to have that. Like, you know, Lynn's just said of, it's so funny because like oftentimes her and I will contact each other and be like, oh, I just like suck. The world is ending. And the other person is like, what? Like, what are you talking? It's such a shock to us, because the way that we see others is how we need to see ourselves. And we don't give ourselves enough of that grace. But when you surround yourself with the right people that you find through putting yourself out there, doing coffee chats and things like that, or we have instilled into our course a system to be able to provide that for you, to teach you how to gain that confidence through our course. And we set up personalized one-on-ones with our students so that we can go through these things and tell you, okay, based on the work that you've done in our course and who you are as a person, this is what you need to focus on. Shut out all of this other noise. This is where you need to go. These are the people you need to curate relationships. This is how we are going to support you. If you know, like, if you don't know where to start, like, come to us. We are more than glad to be that support system for you to help you find your own tribe.
Well, and I think it comes very naturally to us both when we're talking to someone and we can see how great someone is in front of us and they can't see it, and we can distill it and mirror it back to them in a way that they're like, oh, wow, you got all that from this short amount of time. This is a gift that we both have, and we really like to give back. But we built this course and modified it to include that one-on-one time, because that one-on-one time we've learned really enhances your whole experience with the course. But ultimately, it's all about building you up to be a success, and being able to tell your story or sell your story is going to carry you through your entire career. This isn't a do it to get a job. This is you learn how to do it. So as you grow and as you change, you know how to do it forever. So it's something that we got really good at. And when I meet people for the first time, I always ask, tell me your story. And some people do it really well. I do mine, and almost every single time they're like, what a story. Now, it's my life. It doesn't feel that amazing to me, but to someone else, I'm doing it in a way that makes me interesting. So that's what we want for you.
Yeah. And just a couple of like side notes on building your career support system and a support system in general, regardless of where you're building it, is that as you evolve, your support system will also need to evolve. You'll need better resources to elevate you to the next step. You'll need better people who continue to be ahead of you and focus on, you know, finding people who are where you want to be a couple steps ahead, right? So that you don't get too overwhelmed. So maybe it's like 3 to 5 steps ahead of you where it's actually attainable, right? Going back to our SMART goals of seeing someone who has recently achieved in the last several years what you want to do, where you want to be, someone who's living the dream life or the dream career or the dream like leadership role that you would love to be in. Surround yourself with those people, and not that you have to say goodbye to the other people who have helped you previously, but you're going to have to continue to elevate and change the way that you interact with people from your past in order to continue the stepping stones into the elevation of your career. That's just like a super quick side note there, because as you change and grow, everything around you will need to be, because you cannot achieve what you want to by staying in the same rooms. Your career, your friend group, your finances, your physical living space, your family, all of it. You have to change as you go, or else you'll never move up.
Yeah, it's so true. And I think the other thing too is as you're reaching out to those people that are doing it, don't view them as your competition. More collaboration, less competition in 2024. There is enough people on this planet that need your expertise. It's all good. When you meet the people that are doing what you want to do, learn from them. Don't look at them as competition. I promise you, I get outsourced a whole lot of coaching from other people that can't take their workload, or they need people with my skill set. And I wouldn't know these people without opening that up for collaboration. So you can learn from the collaboration, but you can also get work from it. So keep your heart open and your mind open when you're meeting those people and you're seeking them out. This is not a, I want to be like you. It's, I want to learn from you. And what else can I do to get where you are? And they might be like, come work with me, which would be awesome.
Yep. I agree. And look, like if y'all do need that assistance, which of course I'm biased, I created this course with Lyndsay for a reason. Take our course. Learn how to elevate your career, your business. You can honestly apply most of the things that we teach in this course in so many areas of your life. Our course, we've elevated our course, right? Going back to, you need to elevate and constantly grow if you want to be in the right rooms, if you want to continue to grow your career. Lyndsay and I went through that process last year. We constantly elevated our course so that we could help you in the ways that we know are going to help you achieve, and for us, right? Like we want to elevate our own careers too. The only way to do that is to continue to beef up our resources, to work with the clients that we want to work with, to help the people that we want to help. And we provide so many resources in this course, learning the 9 mistakes to avoid on your LinkedIn profile, defining your power statement, understanding how to effectively communicate your value, and creating a personal elevator pitch. So you're so confident the second that you meet someone and they're like, oh, tell me about yourself, or what do you do? And then we have this webinar series that we started too, as an addition to it. And our course now includes one-on-ones with us, which are so valuable. Anyone that's worked with us, whether it's been with this course or in our own individual businesses, the greatest value that we noticed comes from even just 30 minutes of spending with us, where we can give back and pour in more confidence on a one-to-one basis with the person that's on the other side of the video. Because we do video, we love seeing faces, we love interacting. This is a part of our offering now. We've elevated it because we've heard you, we've listened to you, we've seen the results. And like this, I promise you, is going to help you in your career. Most of our students, a really good chunk of our students that have taken this, have landed new jobs in less than a month, or they've started landing interviews immediately after taking this course.
Yeah. I mean, the testimonials we have from the folks that have taken the course speak for themselves. But for us to see people win, it brings us so much joy. That's really what we want for you all. And, you know, curating your story makes you better in every facet of your life. And you might be at a cocktail party and somebody asks what you do. Be on point. Know how to tell your story. And when you do, who knows where the job offers might come from? You know, there was a line in Ted Lasso where Rebecca, the owner of the football team, gives this woman, Keely, a job offer. And she goes, well, I don't want you to give me a job offer in the bathroom. And she's like, men do it all the time. So you just never know like where you could get your next job. And being able to talk about yourself is how you're going to get there.
Yeah. So if you're ready to elevate your career with us, we would love and be honored to help you. You can go to sellmeyourstoryworkshop.com, or you can DM or comment workshop and we'll send you over information. But remember, we have a free resource for you. And we promised you that we were going to give you a free resource by sticking until the end. So if you're still here with us, comment or DM the word goals, and we'll send you the workbook for setting your SMART goals, your intentions for 2024, reflecting on 2023, and how to move forward with your career this year.
Love it. Guys, we hope you come and join us every first Friday. We'll be doing these for the next few months. So we hope they're valuable. If you have feedback, if you have comments, we always want to get better. So please share. But thanks for being with us. Thank you for spending some time with us on Friday. And we hope that you all can sell your story really, really well in 2024. And Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. It's going to be the best year yet. We can't wait to see you next month.
Cheers.